Welcome to the Own Your Best Life podcast. I'm May Emson, your host, leadership and mindset coach. Here, we talk all things spiritual, mindset, business, leadership, and wellness for the modern seeker who wants to align their life with purpose and inspiration. We'll cover career changes, stress management, meditation, energy, intuition, and more. Each episode holds spiritual and practical tools to help you live a life of your wildest dreams without getting burnt out along the way. Ready to live a life on your own terms? This is the Own Your Best Life podcast. Welcome to episode number 208 of the Own Your Best Life podcast. Achievers, this is for you. Do you love the feeling of checking off your to-do list? In fact, you might even put things on your to-do list that you've already done to then check them off because you are celebrating how you are maximizing every waking moment. And if you're an achiever, you're often the person who gets the things done. So you feel this constant itch to be productive all the time and to be responding to everyone around you. And yet what keeps achievers awake at night is thinking of those really important things that they still haven't done that matter to them. Your next career move, the next big work idea, your families, developing your people, making the plan for what's next. And so you tackle the next day with this renewed sense of vigor, and you think, if I just get through this to-do list, I'll have time to figure out how to have more time to do what matters and to make space for this deep thinking and this work. And it is normal to make this kind of trade-off of this short-term versus these long-term gains. You would love to have more time to organize your life, to figure out what's next, but you feel like there's an endless to-do list, and the most important thing to do is to get that thing done. Yet long-term gains, the deep work, the deep thinking, they have a lag. You don't see the results immediately. So you don't get any recognition at the moment for doing this work, which is why it's difficult for people to do this work. And you're also so used to being tired and exhausted if you are responding constantly to what everyone needs around you, that you've normalized anxiety and low-key irritability, which also keeps you from thinking more strategically about the longer-term implications of not working on what's most important and planning ahead beyond a few weeks or months. Your learning centers close down and you narrow in on only one path. And that one path usually looks like the way you've always just done things, just push through all the stuff that has to be done instead of being really innovative and thinking differently about what needs to be done. And you've also likely grown up in your life and in your career with so many examples of hard work. And what that looked like might have been never sitting still and constantly feeling busy and harried and tired. And so you may at times even resent other people who aren't so tired and they don't look like they're working as hard as you. And why do they get to have more time and space in their lives? Are they not giving it their all? You might even think maybe their jobs are just less demanding. Do they not care about their work? And perhaps maybe they even have lower standards than you do. And so you think about job security as well. Well, I don't want to be that person who's not working hard. I want to be recognized as being responsive and helpful because you're usually working in a role where a lot of people need you. And so if you can't get to that big task that needs to be done and is really important, you might as well get a lot of little things done, right? You might as well respond to this person's request, answer that email. Or you think to yourself, I'm going to wait until it's so obvious because either I'm going to leave, I'm going to quit, I'm going to get sick, or the results are so poor that they, the proverbial they, in quotes, are to blame. The others, the people who are making your life this way. So you shrink, you hide, and even if you feel like you're still showing up, you know inside that you're becoming disengaged. Yet this is another paradigm shift of how we view our time. that must occur for you to find your next level of growth and evolution. Are you truly paid and compensated to think in the short term, responding to urgent requests or emails? Is that why you're here on this planet? Is that what you're going to put on your resume or share with the world as your legacy for this time that you are alive? And even if you are to leave this job, this role, this situation that you're in, which again, the leaving and the changing is typical and normal, wouldn't you want to feel like the time you had there was well used and that you're proud of what you've done? To everyone else, the world is still spinning, everything keeps moving. They don't see that this was your inner fight against them by shrinking and hiding. Only you know that, and only you see that. And so let it not be the thing that actually takes you down, that wastes your time that you were there. And instead, let it be something that you can feel good about as well. There are always going to be things we need to do, and being responsive, answering emails or urgent requests, they're one of them. Yet when most of your days are spent doing things that don't feel like they move the needle in your work or your life, it's time to question it. I would ask, are the most important things you need to do the things you can do in 1 or 2 minutes? No, not usually. They are the work of you deeply thinking, deeply working. They require focused time for you to go beyond superficial thinking, which is usually resentment oriented, or fine, I'll just do this, or I hate doing this, or why do I have to do this? And that creates copy and paste type of work. I'll just do whatever it takes to just get it done. And that's the version of not caring. And that's the version of not stressing yourself out. Versus actually seeing this, again, you're alive. Here's an opportunity. Here's a moment. What if you could innovate and create a new path forward? That requires you to make space energetically with your time for something new. And if you could have time to think and work deeply, what would you be able to accomplish? Truly think about that question. What are the things that you know are important for you to do that you're not doing now? Those who are leading their lives and the lives around them are doing this work. They're rearranging their lives and their days to fit what they decide is most important. And they have let go of the old roles they've played as someone who just diligently works, is really quote unquote responsible. And instead, they're seeing themselves as challenging as a person to see if they can truly validate for themselves what is the work that needs to be done. I'm not just doing whatever. I'm thinking about it as it comes in. How can this be different? How can I make this work for me, not just for someone else? They have figured out not just how to work alone and do deep work alone by themselves, but with other people who are demanding of their time, who have other needs. And they've realized that it is their job to make space for deep thinking and work in a world where others are getting the easy dopamine kick from deleting, responding to emails, and just quickly attending to something that really aren't as important. When you are delaying gratification, communicating effectively, practicing patience, recognizing that the struggle of getting into the practice of making time for their work, that becomes the differentiator. The space to do deep work did not come to them, they created it. And this is why it's a massive paradigm shift of I just do what authority figures tell me to do, and I resent authority figures as a result. Versus realizing if I don't create it, no one is going to save me. And they're not going to give me a reward for falling down, for leaving, for quitting, for being disengaged. No one is going to make my life simpler and easier. And so when we have this paradigm shift, we realize, okay, here's the slate in front of us. Here are the cards we're playing with. How does one then go about creating this space for deep work, for deep thinking? This is again where spiritual high performance strategies will come into play. And I'm going to share one of the strategies that I work with my clients with to create more space in their lives. And this is a fairly simple one, but it gets into some deeper things. So this is a method I called breakthrough days. And this is how you organize your days and your time to create a structure that works for you. Everyone has different needs and responsibilities in their lives. And this is why if you try to copy what your boss or your coworker does or what someone else does, it often feels like it doesn't work for you. You want to create the days and structures that work best for you. Not only that, once you create the days and structure, you have to practice it. And this is where the true magic happens. You learn through integrating these practices into your life what your tendencies and patterns are of maybe not stopping work when you said you would, or just diving into work that feels easier even though it's not what's important. Sticking to the plan too rigidly, or not sticking to the plan at all. Coaching then helps you understand what is happening as you come up against roadblocks and even the frustration at not doing what you said you would do. Time for your family and yourself to think and take action on your next career moves. Time for your health or your future health. Time for you to practice your skills, get better at your gifts. Figure out what your future endeavors are going to be. Time to disconnect and be truly inspired. Time for you to understand who you are, what you're here to do, and what you stand for. This is what's at stake. How you think, how you feel, and how you act are all related. And we begin to understand how these patterns are creating the results in your life of no matter how much you are acting and doing and moving things around, you always feel behind, not having enough time, and things just feeling like they're never enough. And this breakthrough days practice then allows you to make time for your best work to occur. You realize that the way you do it might be different. And you own that instead of wishing it was different. It also helps you to take into account how you might be creating additional stress and pressure in your life by how you're reacting to other people and all the demands, and then how to relieve that stress from the demands and other people. Imagine getting an email that something you're doing is late, not working, or isn't right. And that might normally create a rise in blood pressure, body temperature, a feeling of panic, or alarm in your body. And instead of having that ruin your day or your week, it takes a much shorter time for you to neutralize that response, go on with your day, and you respond appropriately and helpfully instead of reacting angrily or with worry that you just really messed something up. And this isn't because you have a nice boss, a mean boss, really understanding people around you. This response is something within our control, especially as a leader and a self-leader. Breakthrough days show you how it is your job to make space for deep thinking so that you can deliver results, have time for your family and friends, and to pursue new things. You plan things out more in advance. And even if things are uncertain, like what job I'm going to have and where I'm going to be and what's going to happen in my life, you decide how to schedule them out because you're driving your life and work, not letting your life and your job dictate what and when you do all the most important things. So I will ask you this. Do you want to keep waiting for work or for life events to dictate how you spend your time and react in the same way you have been when the time comes and create the same results and the same life that you've had up to now? Or do you want to make space for this new paradigm where you are designing your life and work, even if you're busy and even if things are uncertain? If you want to take that second route, to make time, to make space for designing your life and work and not just responding and living out the same kind of experience of stress or not ever feeling like you're ahead or it's enough, you're going to want to watch the free training on how to stop hiding and stop overworking and instead stand out and lead a life where you have that time freedom and the financial freedom. So if you want to choose the latter and become a spiritual achiever, I invite you to watch the free training on how to stand out and lead using spiritual high performance strategies. You can go to the show notes at www.mayemson.com/208, and you'll find the stand out and lead video link there. You can then apply to join the Spiritual Achiever Coaching Program, where you're going to create this next chapter. You're going to practice these spiritual and high performance strategies to achieve time and financial freedom using my proven method. It is risk-free. You either start seeing results within your first month or I give you your money back. And you can schedule your call at mayemson.com/contact. We'll see you inside. That's it for this week, my friends. Have an amazing one, and I will talk to you next time. Thanks so much for joining us this week on Own Your Best Life. Make sure to subscribe to the show on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts so that you'll never miss a show. And while you're at it, can you please rate and review on iTunes? I would so appreciate it. Share it with a friend, take a screenshot of it, and tag @MayEmson. This helps continue to get the word out. For more show notes and resources, check out www.mayemson.com. You'll have all the links to everything you heard here today. Thanks so much for listening. It's time to own your best life.